This is a CBS News special report. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here is Dan Rather.
Good day again, and developments are moving quickly. In Algiers, Algeria, where that hijacked TWA plane is still on the ground. Based on interviews with just recently released hostages, CBS News correspondent Richard Roth reports from the Algiers airport that there are now 12 armed hijackers aboard that TWA flight. In addition to the original 2, a large contingent of hijackers apparently got on during the first stopover in Beirut yesterday. One witness on board the plane described it as, quote, like an army coming on board, unquote. Before departing Beirut, some got off. That is, some of the hijackers who boarded in Beirut, some got off, but, and this is the important point, leaving a total of 12 hijackers. Each and every one of those hijackers now described as heavily armed. This, according to the witnesses, heavily armed including machine guns, machine pistols, magnum pistols, and bundles of hand grenades. This is the new information from hostages let off at the Algiers airport today. Now, this is the situation. The aircraft, which was scheduled to go from Athens to Rome, hijacked, roughly 48 hours ago, first to Beirut, then to Algiers, then back to Beirut, and then back to Algiers. When the aircraft first stopped at Beirut after being hijacked, what no one knew at the time, which now becomes clear from talking to these newly released hostages, is that additional hijackers got on the plane in Beirut, and they are very heavily armed. Now, there have been at least 2 releases of additional hostages today at the Algiers airport. So far as can be determined, 53 men passengers, most if not all of them believed to be Americans, remain aboard the hijacked plane in Algiers. Now, the fact that with the new hostage release, that 53 men, most if not all of them Americans, remain aboard the aircraft, concern is growing around the State Department in Washington. Our State Department correspondent Bill McLaughlin reports that when the news came that the hijackers with the new hostage releases had those hostages still aboard the plane down to 53 men, most if not all of them Americans. State Department officials who've been following the developments very closely, according to our correspondent McLaughlin, their concern increased. So far as can be determined, and we believe this to be a fact, only 1 hostage has been killed. That was the 1 man who was killed last night, U.S. time, when the plane was still on the ground in Beirut. Various sources say that 1 man who was killed and his body dumped off on the tarmac in Beirut was a U.S. Marine, but that has not been confirmed. Repeating now, the situation with the TWA hijacked plane on the ground in Algiers is that hostages who came off this morning, witnesses say that there are now 12 very heavily armed hijackers aboard the aircraft. 53 hostages, all men, remain aboard the plane in Algiers. CBS News will continue to monitor events and will keep you abreast of developments as warranted throughout the afternoon and evening. For right now, Dan Rather, CBS News, New York.
This has been a CBS News special report.
Your eyes.
Yeah.